Welcome to the 2014 Giro d'Italia Highlight Show. Today, the first road stage, starting and ending in Belfast. A 218-kilometre loop, heading north and returning to the great city via the east coast. Rain blowing in from the Irish Sea, making this a tough challenge for the peloton. 2 minor categorised climbs, providing the first blue King of the Mountains jersey. This day, though, destined to be about the quick men. They signed up for a drenching. It's what pro riders do. The rain failing to dampen the spirits, though, of the crowds that once again turned out in force. Svein Tuft is our leader, but with the time bonuses on offer today, it would be a short tenure for the Canadian in pink. Some spills along the way, but thankfully no injuries to report on stage 2. The first King of the Mountain of the day was a private affair between the 4 in the break, and it was Cilingi who succeeded in taking the first 3 mountain points on offer. Let's join the action then with Cilingi, Fedi, Romero and Armé still up front, with a gap to the pack down to just under 4 minutes. Here we go, just under the 50 kilometres to go marker, and it's duties shared by Orica Greenedge and indeed Giant Shimano. Astana also coming and joining the fun. Astana did not have such a bad time trial yesterday, losing out 38 seconds. That sounds like disaster to some of you, but believe me, that was a very good time because Orica Greenedge really monstered the course yesterday. A much longer one today. In fact, it's one of the longest stages on this year's Giro d'Italia, albeit, of course, that we are spending the first 3 days on the island of Ireland. 219 kilometres in total, of which we have 49.3 remaining. These are the 4 men up the road. 3 minutes and 42 is the gap. It had been much larger than that, 7 minutes and 20. In fact, they went off at 3 kilometres, did our 4 hopefuls, into today's race. And by 9 kilometres, it was already up to 3 minutes. Sort of holding up that mark. And just for you, Fedi, Cilingi, Tuft, Durbridge, that's how they stand at the moment. Sort of counting back, you suddenly see Orica Greenedge on the virtual standings because of the gaps out there. But Cilingi is part of this breakaway. Romero from Colombia, Fedi from Nerisatoli, and Armé from Lotto Belisol in the green and black. Cilingi taking the first categorised climb today. There is another one still to come before we get to the line, which is back in Belfast. It is technical, it is nasty. For the time, it's dry, so keep your fingers crossed for everybody. 40 kilometres to go, 3.5 minutes is the gap between our breakaway riders who have done a great job today and indeed hoovered up the points on the first King of the Mountains classified climb on this Giro d'Italia, the first Grand Tour of the season. The work at the front is, of course, being done by Orica Greenedge and Giant Shimano, who have ambitions today for Marcel Kittel on the first day for the sprinters. There's 3 in a row, albeit bisected by the first rest day, which comes after Dublin tomorrow. We've seen some riders going back to the cars constantly for wet weather gear, and as you can see, there's been plenty of rain today on this coast. It's a shame that we haven't been able to show you some of the vistas because it's spectacularly beautiful, but our hearts have been warmed by the people of Northern Ireland who have come out in their thousands. Just look at this. Two minutes and 43. Look at that, 4.5 hours in the saddle. They're going to feel like they've done a proper day's work today.
Yeah, I think they certainly will do. They went out at kilometre 3, so they're already been out there for around about 170 k's, those front 4 riders, and you know that's going to make an impact on their legs certainly this evening. But for one at least, it will be a joyous event when they cross the line because they're likely to go into the blue King of the Mountains jersey. At the moment, it's number 48 there in the green and black, Cilingi, who's leading the competition, having won the first KOM of the day. One more still to come, and that comes with 24 k's to go, so he'll have to keep an eye on the rider from Colombia there, Romero, who was second on the previous climb.
Stepping out of the saddle and having a look, trying to spoil the fun is Feddy. He missed out last time. He was certainly going for it. The other two in the dark with the rainbow stripe across his back is Romero. He thought he could win, but Chilingi it was that took that in the green. He's at the front of the moment. Chilingi's got the pace. He's also got the plan. 36 years of age. He's got the experience as well. And he goes through this cut right now, and chasing him down is Norisitolis Feddy. Backing out of it is Romero. And so Feddy just building a plan for later, but this is going to be Chilingi that has this jersey. Maximum points in the KOMs. Good boy.
Look how narrow that is again. The KOM markers there just very narrow. That's going to cause some problems at this point. I mean, it already caused problems on the previous GPM that we saw an hour or so ago, but you know, the peloton now really starting to get nervous and fight for position. That's a big narrowing, but well done Martin Chilingi. He'll be on the podium later. I might get to interview him as the first wearer of the blue King of the Mountains jersey of this year's race.
There we are. Why blue? Well, what do you see above you when you get on top of a mountain is what the Italians say. Right here, it's a dirty, great big rain cloud, and it may well burst on Belfast before we get to the line.
It used to be green. They changed it because of the sponsor.
Well, likewise, the overall leaders jersey, Gazzetta, coming in to make it pink. Martin Chilingi then taking 3 points. That gives him 6 for the day. Feddy picks up 2 this time to add to his total. I think he got 1 last time by, so he's on 3.
Well, poor old Romero didn't get any points.
I know, so he's on 3 as well. But Chilingi is your boy, leading the King of the Mountains competition. He'll have a blue jersey for his trouble. And a little pat on the back there. I don't know whether that was by design for Romero. Thanks for not spoiling that one for me, he says. Maybe I'll do you the favour tomorrow. They are wise to the narrowing gap and have stayed safe, at least for now.
The team cars that were servicing the riders in the breakaway were on the side of the road there. That generally means that we've got a gap of less than a minute. I'm not sure whether the commissaires just preempted that slightly or whether the graphic is a little bit out in terms of the 1 minute 10 second gap they've got there. Orica Green Edge being led still by Cameron Meyer over the top there. Stellar job he's been doing over the last 100 kilometres or so to keep control of the bunch, and yeah, that gap tumbling down pretty quickly now, as we were expecting. Just the intermediate sprint now to go with 17 kilometres to go, so 6Ks until they get there. Whether we'll see a big fight for that like we did for the King of the Mountains, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure myself either, because there's so many points on offer on a sprinting day. 52 the winner, so it's of no concern. There isn't essentially a jersey up for grabs on the intermediate sprint, and those in the breakaway today unlikely to feature every single day in the break, so yeah, why expend the effort? Somebody's turned a firehouse on in heaven, and they're going for intermediate sprint by the looks of things, or at least trying to stay away as long as they possibly can. They'll be coming into town before you know it, and indeed it is intermediate sprint points, and good that they've actually fought for this, and that was Andrea Feddy who has done that. Now, I said he was a decent sprinter, finished 4th in that stage in Turkey, stage 5, and that was with Viviani and Cav taking that day. Viviani's also here, but he's a fast man, and so points mean something to him.
Yeah, and there is an intermediate competition as well. No jersey for that, but points mean prizes, and there are a lot of prizes available at this year's Giro d'Italia. So also getting some great publicity for his sponsors. They're an invited team to this race, but perhaps quite lucky, because slightly controversial last year that Sant'Ambrogio, who won a stage, was subsequently found positive, and Danilo De Luca also positive and thrown off the race, really in disgrace. So they were lucky to be invited back by RCS, the organiser.
That's Kiki. He's got a problem, and this is not great, because he may well be a veteran. Just look at those legs, and he can turn them very, very quickly. It would have been a good outside pick today, especially with his experience. He can go well.
Yeah, we talked about him at the top of the programme. He's incredibly fast when he gets things right. Very inconsistent. You know, he might finish, could even win a stage like today. Could finish in the top 3, could finish absolutely nowhere. It's not a great time to get a puncture, but 16 Ks to go. He has got time to remain reasonably calm and get a tow back from a couple of the team cars back to this peloton, gradually make his way towards the front, and I would imagine that he'll have a few teammates guiding him up to keep him protected from the wind, to save as much energy as possible for this final K.
12.3 kilometres to go, 1:05. They're holding out here, you know. They're doing a decent job.
Kind of hovered around that same time gap now for 3 or 4 kilometres. In fact, since the intermediate sprint, I think it might have actually gone up very slightly. I think it's still very much under control. Cannondale now the people on the front of the peloton doing the controlling. Of course, for Elia Viviani, who you rightly said, Carlton, was extremely impressive in the Tour of Turkey, which finished very recently. 2 stage wins there ahead of Mark Cavendish. So he'll be full of confidence and really desperate to take his first win in this race.
First win in this race, and fantastic result on a Grand Tour it will be for the young man. Incidentally, I saw them celebrate in Turkey because I was on site with the team and they were sharing our hotel. They were allowed a little sip of champagne each night he won, and it really was a little sip, like a thimble, but they absolutely loved it. It was a huge treat, and it looks like they are not tired of success at all. Viviani and his Cannondale team in the lime green towards the front. I can tell you that Kiki is back in. He's been helped here, but how much that has cost him, I do not know. He's got to rest now. A hard thing to do with only 11.4 to go, but it is doable. And we said adrenaline is a funny thing, and Kiki might be there at the end. Yeah,
sometimes it's not just a case of having the strength to get to the front, but having the room to get to the front as well. Hopefully when the road widens out here, he'll have some space down the side. His teammates can then bring him up towards the front of the bunch again. It will have cost him a little bit of strength in his legs, but I still wouldn't rule Kiki out of a decent result today.
Most definitely. 56 seconds now with 11 to go. I'm just wondering what Fedi's got here for Neri Satoli. He's clearly the man who is the fastest of all of these guys, although Arme can go reasonably quick, and so can Romero, the Colombian, who sometimes finds himself in places that perhaps you'd think he shouldn't, not least that day we mentioned where he lost out to Gardini in the Tour of the Langkawi. So you never know, stranger things have happened. I think though the sprinters that are here today will certainly have him sorted. Over 5 hours in the saddle on a day that you wouldn't normally reach for the bike.
No, it's a long time to spend on a bike in conditions like this, and as I said, they've the neutralised zone as well, so it's going to be a long day. 10 kilometres to go, and that peloton's going to be cruising along at over 50 k's per hour from here to the finish. So in around about 12 minutes time, we're going to see the winner cross the finish line here in Belfast, and what an exciting finish we're in store for here.
10 kilometres to go. The bannerman and our data agree with each other, but right now these four have still got 53 seconds. Now the peloton need to be careful, because if the sprinters teams start looking at each other, don't want to take over the pace, the GC boys aren't going to want to run this one into the ground. They're happy for everyone just to stay together, frankly, and so if you have got some desire today to take it as a sprint team, you better get to the nose, and that's what's happening to Cannondale, and that's why Elie Viviani is here. My pick for the day, Marcel Kittel is for Dan, the fastest man around at the moment, many say. I guess the season will prove whether that is the case or not, and Cannondale is still being left out there to hang, I'm afraid. Who else is going to join the fun? Cannondale are up front with Elie Viviani. Giant Shimano have done a lot of the pacing today just to keep control of this race and tee it up for Marcel Kittel. He's fantastic, we know that. And this is a roll of the dice for Martin Cialinghi. He's going off, wants a bit more pace into this. It's down to 30 seconds. They'd have to have about 3k to go with that to have any kind of chance. But even then, after a long day with tired legs, lactic acid just started to make itself known in the thighs. Pain we're talking, and they've got plenty of that. 8k to go, and here they come. They are onto them.
Yeah, I think Cannondale have done their research coming into this race. They seem to know the course very well coming in here towards Belfast, and they're really putting the hammer down here on the front, and that's going to start to cause problems in the peloton behind. You can see the effect it's had after just one corner stringing out, and that's even kind of exemplified really when it's wet on the road as well. People at the back having to slow down even more. Oh, we've got a puncture. Who's that?
We'll find out in a moment. It's one of the Bianchi boys. And I beg your pardon, it's not. Oh, dearie me. That is Van Emden. He's a decent time trialist. They would be thinking of Jetzer Bol today, Belkin, although they have got a man in the break, Cialinghi, so they've been not forced to actually go for this. Right now, the man who is going for it is the teammate of Van Enden. Out front, Martin Cilingi is having some fun with us. 30 seconds with 7 to go. Could this be a famous one for Cilingi? I don't think so. But with all the street furniture, the chops and changes of direction, Cannondale have hit the front, and here comes Sky. They're mobbing the road. They want a piece of the tarmac, and they want to stay safe as well.
Yeah, Cannondale still dominating things at the front. Almost their entire complement you can see in the lime green from the overhead shots there. Kind of playing into the hands in some ways to Giant Shimano. I haven't seen too much of them so far. Of course, they've been controlling things on the front. They must be collecting themselves together in... Just trying to look from the overhead shots. Can't see too much sign. We've got a few of them down on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. They're certainly playing things calm at the moment.
Well, they are. Maybe too calm. We'll see if the street furniture has an impact. Cilingi still out of sight. There you go. 10 pro wins for this man. But he's had some decent ones as well. Some terrific finishes in some terrific races. Third place in the Paris-Roubaix 3 years ago. And he is going for this. 30 seconds he's holding with 6.1 kilometres to go. He's going into time trial mode. He's got to think, if you like, of the velodrome, so to speak, if you know your Paris-Roubaix. And here he goes, 6 to go right now, mouth agape like a basking shop. Can he possibly do it? Stranger things have happened. I think it's a very long shot, but we wish him the best.
Well, I think when I spoke to him this morning, I doubt very much if he thought he was going to end up having a day like he is today. He's already got that King of the Mountains jersey, which we'll see him wear on the podium when he comes in towards the finish. But he's doing a fantastic ride, holding a storming peloton, and the time's not coming down quite as quickly as I was expecting. I still think he will be caught before they get to the finish line, possibly with around 2 or 3 Ks to go once this thing gets really wound up to top speed.
Cilingi will be in a pleasant place when he gets to 3 kilometres to go if he holds this kind of advantage, because it's very technical. We've got lots of street furniture. He can pick his lines. He's got the space to work with here. Has he got the pace to make it happen? 23 seconds it's holding at the moment. The transponders are working, and I think maybe Cannondale, not tiring, but just trying to hold something back for their sprinter.
Well, certainly doing a lot of the work, all of the work on the front of this bunch at the moment. You can see all of the team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 9 of the team up towards the front here. One of the riders, having done his work, is just going back through the peloton. It still leaves them 8 guys up here, and they're really bossing it so far.
Viviani it was that gave the headbutt and said, come on, out the way, this is my sprint train. We are going to at least stay together. Trekker here as well for Nizzolo. Hondo is in position. He's got Nizzolo behind him now. Nizzolo is a real fighter. Sky come through. They've got Edvald Bosenhagen and Ben Swift. Which card do you think they're going to play with 4.7 to go?
I have a feeling that Sky are going to be working for Ben Swift today. He's been on tremendous form already this year, but both of them are up towards the front, both being sheltered by the very experienced Austrian Bernie Eisel.
Right now, out front, it is Cilingi. He's only got 14 seconds. It's all over for him with 4.5 kilometres to go. It's within sight now. And this is a nightmare sight. If he has a look behind, his all heart, I'm afraid, will be lost at this point. But look at the road. Look how dangerous it is. Look at the street furniture. And look how important it is to be at the front. And that's what they're racing for at the moment.
And here come Giant Shimano finally. Marcel Kittel, though, second in line. Haven't counted exactly how many teammates he's got up there. Omega Pharma Quickstep also coming towards the front. Is that around there, or is Alessandro Patacchi actually going to sprint at the finish of today's stage?
Of course Patacchi's going to sprint at the end of today's stage. I think he might well be a feature. Podium at least. Let's have a look. 4 kilometres to go. 9 seconds Cilingi holds at the moment. We're into the barrier section, but here they come. At 3 Ks to go, it gets very, very nasty. And then, of course, there's that horrible turn right at the end. Cannondale still have the dominant force in terms of their team in the right place and indeed at the right time. In fact, they're on the shortest route through this, taking the left-hand bend tight on the corner. But here comes Nizzolo, Hondo and Trek Factory Racing with their white accented sleeves. They've got big plans for today. Can they pull something of a surprise? Giant Shimano are there as well, and I've got to tell you that Marcel Kittel is in a fantastic position, but they're picking this up. Wins for Viviani mean an awful lot. They've just got belief, frankly, Cannondale.
I can see Tyler Farrar, the American rider from Garmin Sharp, on the wheel there of Elio Viviani. He'll be looking to make up for a disastrous start for that team yesterday. Could be in for a podium if he does things right towards the end. It's going to be a long shot for the win. The red rider on his wheel, I think, is probably Kenny De Haas from the Lotto Belisol team. Cannondale have been kind of taken over now by Trek, haven't they?
They have. It's all for Nizzolo today. My outside pick, and it's Hondo that's in a terrific position. Now, he is a battering ram, and he will be the last man to go before Nizzolo is unleashed. 2.9 kilometres to go. Now, look at the pace. They know, and some others do that you've got to be in the first 5 riders on the last corner, and it's that they're racing for in the first instance, and then if you happen to be in the right place at the right time, you can go for the line.
Davide Apollonio in the brown of AG2R is also hovering about, doesn't have much in the way of team support. Giant Shimano still playing things very, very calm. They've got the experience. Kittel will know when he wants his team to go towards the front. 5 of them there. Kittel actually just losing the wheel of his teammates there at the moment, but this looks to be when they are deciding to make their move. Simon Yechter, the German bearded rider, on the front, still in his rain jacket, starting this final lead out of 2.3 Ks to go.
Yeah, Kittel in the frame. Trek Factory Racing are also here. Tyler Farrar is on his own, but he's in a good place. He's right next to Marcel Kittel with that blue jersey, so you never know. The American might deliver today. 2.1 kilometres to go. The magic number on your screen will say 0.3. The graphic, it'll be gone by then. It'll only be 300 metres or so to go, and everyone wants a piece of that little turn. A little turn, absolutely. You wouldn't even notice it if you walked by it during the day, but it's oh so important. And look at the street furniture, unguarded there, a save for 3 plastic cones. That's a dangerous moment. The road wet and dry in places as well. Crown of the road dry, but that's not where you want to be. You want to be far over to the correct side of the road to take the turn with ease. And Bouhanni's here. He's got a couple of teammates in blue. This could be a great day for Nasser Bouhanni and Francis de Jure. There they are. They're going to play this game, but so unfortunately for them are the big players today. And Bossaf Kittel and Giant Shimano are in place with 1,500 to go.
But has he got enough people in front of him, Kitty? He's only got 2 teammates left here, and that's not enough with 1,300 metres still to go. FDJ in the blue come towards the front. Bouhanni slips into position. Haven't seen too much of Bling Matthews, but he is there, around about 10th position. In fact, I'm not sure that, yeah, that is him in the aerodynamic helmet, just getting onto the wheel of one of the Giant Shimano riders. Swift's up there, Farrar's up there, all the people that we expected to be there are there. Edvald Bosenhagen as well, Viviani. We're going to see a huge sprint in 1 minute's time.
Underneath the Fram Rouge, it's Edvald Bosenhagen that comes up towards the front for Sky. Ben Swift is behind him. They still haven't decided how this one's going to pan out. Bling is there for Matthews, for Orica Greenwich. 800 metres. We're nearly at the turn, the big turn. You've got to be in the top 5 if you're going to make it, and they all know it. There's Viviani in the green, hoving into sight. He's fighting for position. He's with Kittel right now. Is he going to take the turn in the right place? Viviani versus Kittel on the turn. This is it coming up right now. That's the 500-metre marker. It's at 350. Bling is in a great place. Matthews, 400 now. Bouhanni gets himself into place. Here's the big turn right now. Stay safe, everybody, for goodness sake. And now turn the taps on. It's the race for the line. It's anybody's game, this. Viviani's there. So is Bouhanni. So is Tyler Farrar by the barriers in the blue. Oh, and Matthews picks it up. He's going for this one. He doesn't want to ride behind anyone else, but right now he's riding behind Bouhanni. And Kittel comes to the fore. The big man. Oh, there's none bigger at the moment, and he proves it, finishing in front of Bouhanni. What a sprint that was. They all stayed safe. They all delivered. We love this race. So do the Irish. Thank you, Belfast, and thank you, Marcel. What a finish that was. Absolutely superb. What a powerhouse. What a great ride as well for Trek Factory Racing in Giacomo Nizzolo, finishing in 3rd place, throwing the bike there, finishing behind Bouhanni in 2nd place. Kittel, our winner. Kittel takes it ahead of Bouhanni. Nizzolo for Trek Factory Racing in 3rd place, ahead of Eli Viviani, who just got boxed in very late on. Roberto Ferrari in 5th place. Belletti, Swift, Matthews, Apollino and Tyler Farrar.
The final was pretty hectic because yeah, a lot of teams, of course, they try to be in front, and we tried to do a good lead out, but honestly we had some difficulties at some points. But anyway, in the end we were before the corner in the front, and yeah, that's what it's all about. And after that I could just start my sprint, and I have to say I'm feeling really good. I'm very motivated for the Giro, and I'm really super happy that we could get that win today.
Yes, and a Superman. And he has the red jersey. Our points leader has been declared. Martin Ciulinghi gets what he wants. It's the blue jersey, king in the mountains. 2 categorized climbs today. Overall standings, Michael Matthews leads, and there is the ranking for you. Orica Greenedge still mobbing it. Svein Tufte, who had been our leader coming into today, hands over to Michael Matthews, so there was a split, and Matt gets it. Bling, I should say, Michael Matthews.
I had tears in my eyes. It's always been a dream to wear this jersey, and in my first Giro d'Italia, what more could you ask for? Win the team's time trial and get the pink jersey the next day. It's truly something special.
And it looks like something you should be able to hang on for a while. It doesn't seem like Pataki's going for the sprint. So where do you think you can take this jersey up to?
Hopefully, the goal is to take it up to maybe stage 7 or 8. My true goals in this tour are stage 5 and 6, which really suit me. So yeah, we'll try and keep it up until then, and if it's possible, even longer.
Orica Green Edge are the boys. The boy Matthews is the daddy.